Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Gwent with our Consume Monsters deck. So there has actually been a tiny change to the deck list. As I mentioned, I don't have all of the cards, so when I was doing a little bit of a grind the other day, I actually got lucky enough to pull a Regis Hire Vampire from the list. So this has a deploy effect, so when you play this card onto the board, you get to look at the top three random bronze units from your opponent's deck, and you get to consume one and shuffle the others back. So there's really good synergies with this, other than it being a gold card that consumes and therefore becomes very difficult to deal with. It can be quite a high power play. You know, it could be, you know, as minimum as about 9 maybe. If you're on really unlucky stages, there could of course be a 1 in all 3 of them, but it's very unlikely. If you're against Nilfgaard, for example, all of the cards are usually quite high. If you find a spotter, it might be for as much as 17 points. So there's a lot of really good point value with a Regis Hire Vampire. However, it also disrupts a lot of different combos as well. Something that is maybe right at the forefront of their interaction as far as their deck's concerned. If we were playing against Consume Monsters, for example, maybe it takes out one of our Consume cards, maybe some of our carryover, that kind of thing. Or even a Necker that's been boosted several times and could be up to 10 points. If we're against the mirror match in that sense, I could actually Regis Hire Vampire, take a Necker for about 10 points. So there's a fair bit of synergy there. But yeah, it's a lot of interaction with our opponent's deck in that sense, but it can be slightly hit and miss depending on the power level of it, essentially, in a matchup. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get into some ranked games. I'll see you there.
Close ranks!
Nats Thai cellmate tower.
Okay, so we're against Foltest, and it is the 37 card one as well, which does mean that there's a lot of the value of his deck's going to get a lot bigger. He's going to throw out an Operator, for example, with a Kaidweni Sergeant, which boosts a lot of things up, so we've got to be aware of that. I'm not actually sure how to fight against it so much. I'm not too adept at Gwent just yet, so I guess we're just going to try and make sure that our hand works well against, well, as far as our deck's concerned. Yeah, that's okay, I suppose. Our opponent leads off. So it's either Foltest or the Sergeant. I can't quite remember which one usually goes first here.
Crush those vermin!
It's the Foltest, so he boosts all units in his hand and deck by 1. So this deck revolves around a lot of thinning. It's got most of the cards that when you play them get the other copies out. And also Reaver Hunters or Reaver Scouts that essentially just cycle through your deck. Gotta be aware of that. Maybe we'll actually lead off with a Regis Hire Vampire, and we might be able to steal something good. It's also not something that our opponent can interact with either. Let's do it. Field Medic, an Adept, and a Field Medic. Guess we'll get rid of a Field Medic. Allows him to shuffle things back into his deck, which continues the cycling and lets him get answers. We don't want him to have any of that. And there's your Kaidweni Sergeant, which gets him a Blue Stripes Commando out of his deck. So this is essentially the battle strategy. Every time he plays a Sergeant, he's going to get a Blue Stripes Commando. Ugh. And it's also going to bump them up as well. Yup. Lots of value to get here. Lots and lots of value. Not entirely sure how to proceed, if I'm honest. Still in the learning stages here. So we'll lead off with the Seleno Harpies. It does allow us to have a little bit of carryover into the next round and puts us a point ahead. There's no way our opponent's going to fold here. He's just going to keep playing this out. More Sergeants, more Blue Stripes. It's a shame we don't have Coranthia. So we could essentially move everything onto one row and start frosting it. Or even our water hag, so we could rain a row. Because everything's going to be roughly the same power level, so it's going to be quite easy with weather effects to do a lot there. I guess we'll just throw down another harpy on a different row, so frost is less effective. Because he does have...
I told you so, you idiot!
Reaver Hunters. Throws the sergeant back into his...
killed for less!
Pulls the sergeant, sorry. Gets him another blue stripe. And this is where we're kind of getting to the point where winning's not going to be too easy. So it's how much we want to commit. I mean, I can use the Unseen Elder. Consume 3 eggs for 6 point each. But as powerful a play as that is, it's not exactly too helpful. I mean, I guess we'll go with it.
The gate must be secure.
Grab all of these eggs. Bumps him by 6 for each and then generates a harpy as well. And puts us a point ahead. But most players in his hand now are like 7 pointers. Rain's our back row. So we could Ekimara the Seleno Harpy. We don't have to do that just yet though. It makes our crones somewhat less effective as well if we want to continue this. Yeah, I guess maybe we just get a Kaidweni Sergeant off the board. We're only losing 1 point from the rain once it's our turn again, so we're at 48 essentially. I kind of want to use the Ekimara on the Harpy Egg, to be honest though, because it's 6 points, bringing 9 over, as opposed to an extra 4 for 7. Then again, we do have the carryover of 3 from our Harpy. If we don't consume that, and we get to keep the 4.
Lads, the time to discuss this is later.
Vess, the blue stripes. Whenever you complete a Northern Realms trio, play this unit from your deck. Well, he's got these blue stripes commandos. I guess we just Ekimara, take the Harpy. Puts us on a draw, unfortunately. Which means if he passes, we're going to have to use an extra card.
As you wish, milady.
He's just going to rain. She's going to kill our Harpy. And it's still going to hit the Harpy, but not for much. So we're technically at like 51. We could Alza's Thunder and take him to 51. Puts us in the same position though. Most cards in our hand right now go into one of those weathered up rows as well. So I'm not best pleased about that, but I guess we'll just Kaidweni Sergeant again.
I sense strong magic.
Triss gets out a Roach, which is going to kill our Ekimara. We've got no carryover anymore. And our opponent's on 65. We We've essentially got 16 points with the Brewess, because we play them down for 20 points, and then the 2 6s get damaged by the rain for 2 each. So that's 16 points. Ugh. I guess we just get more stuff off the board. Not sure what else we can do. I mean, we're going down by another 2, down to 44. We're not winning this round, I don't think. So I suppose why commit to it? Other than to get extra cards out of our opponent's hand. We're a card up. He's going to be down a card and going first. But his cards are now worth a lot more than ours in general value. Okay. Okay. I guess we keep all of this hand. I don't really want a mulligan just in case the crones turn up in our hand, which is pretty much just going to spell instant loss for us if that happens. I'm just not going to take the risk. We can essentially get down a Necker, use Araka's Behemoth to generate some... Oh, hello. That slows us down a bit. Start of every turn, damage a random enemy by 1 and ignore its armor. So we could Cleaver, stop that from happening. So that's going to rack up a fair few points. Yeah, I guess we Cleaver it.
For business.
Put 6 points down.
I told you so, you idiot.
It's going to get another copy. Brutal. Okay, so if we ran Warrior, we consume Cleaver. We get a point on our Necker. For the most points possible. Then it ticks down to 1. We play Araka's Behemoth. Now we'll play the Behemoth first. It's our Behemoth, sure. We're not going to be consuming enough for this to get killed by the consumed downside. And there's his Temerian Infantryman. Bear in mind we've still got 20 points in hand. Consume Cleaver. Get an Aracus, pump up our Necker. And we'll play the Necker to get consumed by it later. Goes with a Royal Decree for Yennefer.
You crossed the wrong sorceress.
So you can either pump his or debuff ours. He's going to pump his. It's worth the most valuable, I suppose. I think he might just have won here, to be honest. But we'll play it out. Get our Necker down for him to consume next turn, which will get us another Necker out of our deck, thanks to the Death Wish. Depending on that card, we could win, I think. Yeah, he's going to pass. I'm pretty sure we do win this round. 43. So yeah, we can get 63 with the Crone. Which buys us the round. And we get a carryover of a Necker. Well, it didn't hit the Necker, which is good. And we pass, take the round by 5 points, which is close. He's got 1 card in hand, but so do we. And we both draw a card as well. I get 10-point Necker as well. Ooh. This is a hand where you can't interact with it. Bit of removal. Weather. Problem is that we lead off first. think we'll keep it though. Alright, so as far as restricted units in his deck go, we know he's got the Siege, the Reinforced Trebuchets, but he's got 2 of those out. Could have Reaver Scouts. The rest of it are quite agile units, to be honest, so I don't think there's any prediction I can make as to where anything goes. I think we just play Imlerith so that we can at least frost something. Then again, that's an extra 4 points. I don't think the frost is going to mount to more than the 4 points that Imlerith can actually gather us, so let's put frost on that row. 15 points. I think his cards are worth 7 each now, so there's 14 points in his hand probably.
Bloody non-humans.
Well, he had some clear weather. So we hit for 4, 2 points down essentially, down to 5. Last card in hand, do we win?
The semblance of power don't interest me.
Do you do strengthen self if there's a tie? Ooh. We won by a point! Oh my god! Jesus. So that card was supposed to make a tie, essentially, but it could only give 15 points, which was just not enough to catch up. And we managed to take the round there, so that's really good. What did I earn as a reward today? Let's see. Probably like 15 scraps, yeah. Some experience halls, level 12. I'm working my way up to rank 8 now as well, and I'm not too far off from it. Did have a bit of a losing streak yesterday when it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I was trying to play Consume Monsters thinking, oh yes, it's a great time to do it. No, it's not. Never play a Gwent tired, because you don't make good decisions. Anyway, let's go to another game. See you there.
Humans have no place in Broccolon.
Why should I help you?
Okay, so we're against Spell Scoia'tael, which means there's a whole lot of no interaction with this deck. Not likely to be anything for Katakan to hit. The Necker is interesting. Oh my god, we've got all 3 Bruises. How did I not even notice that? Well, at least we're not going to mulligan into them. Or redraw in this case. So there is that. Okay, this hand isn't so bad, I guess. He's going to go with Quensign to stick a shield on some of the cards in his hand. Okay, which essentially he's got cards in his hand that get boosted every time he casts spells, and those are now going to have a shield on them, which means our Alza's Thunders are quite dead unless we weather them first to get the strength, the shield off first, or even Cleaver as well. Gotta bear that in mind. Okay, we'll lead off with the Behemoth. Probably the least valuable card in our hand. And the Epidemics. Play the other Behemoth. We just always want to keep power on the board. We've got gold cards that he'll struggle to interact with, but I kind of want to wait until at least he puts a unit down for me to hit. It's going to go with, is that Skellige Storm? Yes, it is. Damage the leftmost units by 3, 2, and 1 respectively. Fair enough. So this is getting hit for 3. So we play the Seleno Harpies. It gets hit for 3 down to 2. Then we Vrand Warrior. It dies, but it makes a new Arrakis for us. Assuming that he doesn't weather the range draw as well. As I mentioned, I kind of want to keep the weather around for his shielded units so that maybe in the future Alza's Thunder actually does something. So I'm not even that fussed about the Behemoth. It was kind of like a bait. We'll play the Seleno Harpies. Going wide as well is a little bit better because he's going to need weather to deal with all 3 of them. But he could, of course, just simply have all of that. Geralt's going to push all of them onto the Skellige Storm row. Okay, so maybe we actually use our Unseen Elder here to just make a really powerful unit. So we consume, create an Arrakis, take him to 1. Consume, create an Arrakis, take him to 0, and then consume an Arrakis. Which is 3 pumps for the Necker. So if he removes a Necker, we get 1 back with Death Wish anyway. It's also gold, which means he's going to need Dimeritium Shackles or anything of the sort.
Why should I help you?
And consume. Okay. So we got 14 points.
The time of the white frost and white light is nigh.
That he might struggle to interact with. He does play another Quen sign on some of his units in his hand as well, so they're all shielded. Most of the units in his deck are probably shielded now, which is not ideal. We're 5 points ahead. He's cast how many special cards? 4 now. I can't remember what the base strength of the units that get buffs from specials are. I think they start at 1. I think they start really low, but they do get quite big after a while. How do we proceed here? I could Ran Warrior the Arrakis and then Ekimara it, but you might just have answers for that. But I think I'll do it anyway. It's out of Alzur's Thunder range anyway. But it does take it to 1.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Avalak, not always good for us, but in this case, pretty awesome actually. We got our gold cards. We've got essentially all of our gold cards out of our deck now, which is good. We've got a Renew, essentially, is the only one left. We're at 22. I could consume a really big unit from his deck if he's not got them all in his hand with our Regis. Let's do it. That's our alternative, really. Nothing can be consumed by the Ran Warrior, so... Alright, top 3 bronze units. There you go. The Protector, worth 8. And he's got blue Mountain Commandos as well. When it's moved. When you deploy it, you play them all. So he's got 15 points ready to go. We're just going to consume one of his game-winning cards, though. Essentially. Taranthir is pretty good for something like that. Actually. Are you restricted to a row? No, you're agile. Which makes you a problem. So we can Taranthir and gain essentially an extra 5, ping him for 1, take the shield off of these guys. Or gals. Which might just take the round.
Run while you're still able.
Sure, let's do it. Our opponent threatening us. And he passes. Alright. So we're going to carry over our Ran Warrior. Add an extra 8 points plus the boost as well. We could play the Necker and get one out of our deck. This is the first one, so we'll bring the second one out, and if the second one gets consumed, we get the third one out. Anything out of deck? Pass. Carry 20 points over. We get a Renew and an Alzur's Thunder. So the Renew can get Caranthea, which allows the Alzur's Thunder to actually do some damage on his protectors. Same goes with Water Hag. Cleavers are going to be alright. I think this hand's reasonable enough. And we lead off with what? So if we played the Crones, he can Epidemic us for 12. Currently, Epidemics us for 9, and then we get our other Necker out, which is not too bad. There is Regis Higher Vampire and Caranthea. I'd rather use... Ooh, we could even Geralt Ard or even Avalak. We've got lots of choices with the Renew, so I'm not going to pull the trigger on that just yet. I guess we just... Could just Cleaver and trigger Ekimaru, which does nothing essentially. You might weather the row though, which will force us to clear weather. Sure.
I'm a dwarf of business.
So you can Scorch us for 11, you can Epidemic us for 6, you can weather the row to deal either 3 or 2 this round, and then we clear the weather. Goes for Skellige Storm to do 3, 2, and 1. So we Water Hag. Clear skies.
We'll win. Humans have no place in Broccolon.
So he gets to resurrect Skellige Storm again. Sure. Too many golds and not enough interaction for us. So we go down to 11 as soon as we start our next round. I don't know if we're winning this. So how much do I want to commit to it is the thing. I mean, I could commit Imlerith, which effectively is just an 8-point thing you can't interact with too much. Lacerates, kills a lot of our stuff. He's a point behind. So we know he's got the Protectors, which when we last consumed
Run while you're
them...
still able.
You really don't like me, do you? They're 2 baselines, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're worth like 10 points each now, and he probably has 2 of them in his hand. Let's play our Brewesses. Let's do it. So we're at 33. Any non-frost weather on our back row only does 2 per turn. If you had fog though, the next turn it would do 6, which is not ideal. Ragnarok. Okay, so it hits the highest unit for 2 on every row, essentially. Still at 39 though. Let's just get some points out and some cards out. It only hits 1 of the highest units as well, so it doesn't hit all in the case of a tie. Should be noted. And when that Necker dies, that one's gone forever, unfortunately.
Cadmill and Shay.
13-point Protector. Puts us still 10 points ahead.
Cadmill and Shay.
And his final Protector. Those are his power cards, though. We've got a Renew to get essentially a gold unit that is very difficult to interact with for him. Yeah, Vran Warrior. I'm going to get rid of the Alzur's Thunder. There's just not enough chance for it to do anything here. And Selena Harpy.
Your tricks will not save you, Dwarf.
Okay, 8 points there. Play our Harpy. Get some eggs for the Vran Warrior.
Have strength, my love.
Okay. Gonna rally out another mercenary. He's giving us points, but he is
Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
essentially taking points off of us as well. It's 2 points ahead. We're gonna Vran Warrior our eggs. 19 to his 8. What's his final card? Because we've got a Renew for at least, I think, 8 points. Oh, we got a good game from the last one, finally. Yeah, we can Renew for... yeah. Opponent didn't stand a chance. And he scoops. Awesome. Sweet. It's 10 of 12 rounds. What do I get this time? Come on, ore. Yes, I do want some ore. And no level. I get to nearly to my next rank. Okay. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for some more Gwent in the future. I'm going to be offering a third episode as well to anybody who supports on Patreon for just a minimum of $1. It's completely optional though, but if that's something that interests you, you also get a free magic video as well for that same price and access to a lot of polls as well. If it's something that interests you, then it is there, but don't really put yourself out there just for the sake of it. It's completely optional. It's for essentially a thank you to everybody who supports me, so if that's something that interests you, it's there. Otherwise, be sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon as well right next to the subscription button, and that'll give you notifications when the next video goes live. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.